All right.
I'd like to get the meeting started if everyone would stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So, second.
Anything, subtractions?
We voted last week, or 2 weeks ago, on a motion to approve the CUP for the asphalt plant at
What?
Bituminous Roadways. And I voted yes on that. I meant to vote no. It was a mistake. I would like to be on the record as voting against it.
Oh, well, that's, Bill, how does that work?
I thought you voted no on that.
No. I think I would have.
So 2 weeks ago was not the CUP. The CUP was on April 25th.
Last week, or 2 weeks ago, was,
the contractor's
It was the developers agreement.
developer's agreement.
okay.
So this is in regards to the minutes then? Because we're approving the minutes here.
Didn't you vote no on the CUP?
You did vote
and
no,
yes
'cause
on
you-
the
I remember
development
that.
Agreement? I think that's what happened.
Yeah, you voted no. You're the only one. I cut.
No,
I
he
caught
voted
that.
yes
voted
on
yes.
on the agreement.
On the agreement, but not the CUP.
I vote
Yeah,
yes
the
on the
CUP's
agreement.
minutes are not ready yet. We got to the 11th. So that's what's on the
Oh.
agenda today.
Not the meeting minutes from that one.
The 25th isn't ready yet. I'm not sure whether that's the one we're talking
I
about.
guess
but
my point is after the fact, it is what it is, right? Or,
Don't you, well, no, I believe if you're on the winning side of a vote, you can bring it back up to reconsideration, have another vote.
Yeah,
I won't bring it back up for reconsideration, but I'd like to be on a record as being opposed to it.
I think that's fine.
Okay.
That can just show up in the minutes.
all right.
Yep.
All right, so on the consent agenda, motion approved. We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, planning commission report. Who do we have for that? Jesse? You're up.
Earth?
Garth is
Garth?
here, but I
It
don't
was,
think
it
he's
was
coming.
Oh.
He is unable to attend.
Oh.
So the planning commission had two items on their agenda. The first one was a continuation of discussion for a variance at 6502 West Broadway. This particular variance was for a septic system, and the question before the planning commission at the time was whether or not the suggested placement of the septic system, whether it was in a wetland or not. And after some investigation by Becky Wozni and looking at wetland, or the area, she determined that it was wetland. So the suggestion was to move and call the person who was Ryan Lashinsky, who did the original soil borings. And he did them in January, so he probably didn't really have a good idea of where the upland was in this particular lot. So he went back out the day after and did some testing, and they can put a standard septic system in the alternate area where you looked out and towards the back of the property.
Southwest side,
Yeah,
past the old barn.
I was just gonna say, it's past the old barn. I'm not sure whether, yes, it would be like southwest, yes. So during the discussion, we didn't know that yet, but during the discussion, the applicant felt at that time that they would withdraw the application because, according to our ordinance, you cannot, once your variance is denied, you can't come back with the same application for 1 year, and she didn't want to go down that road. So the planning commission accepted the variance application withdrawal, and now that's their recommendation to the council.
Okay, so do we have to accept that withdrawal?
It was verbal.
Bill, do we need to verbally?
I
A motion to accept the withdrawal would be appropriate.
Okay, someone want to make that motion?
Make a motion to accept the withdrawal from the applicant?
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.
I know most of you visited the property. Fanny Penn is the buyer. She was here that night. She indicated she understood the state of the house and how it was in disrepair, and she plans to repair it, already has a contractor. we indicated to her that they needed a driveway and that she had to clean up the other accessory buildings. She indicated that she understood that she had to do those things on the property.
One of the things that wasn't clear is she gonna live there herself, or is she gonna rent the place?
I do not think she's gonna live there, no.
So it's gonna be a rental property.
Either a rental or she's, you know what I mean, gonna invest some time and then sell it.
Flipper.
Okay?
The second thing that happened at the planning commission is we held a public hearing for the 2040 comprehensive plan. There was no testimony during that public hearing. There was a presentation by Hyla Mays, just an overview of the comprehensive plan and where everything, you know what I mean, she went through several different chapters of it, but mostly focused on the planning and zoning, which we have reviewed over the past year now. And at this point, there's a resolution in your packet, and what the resolution indicates is that you would approve the comprehensive plan for circulation to surrounding communities, and I believe to the Met Council for comment.
Okay, anyone?
We can make changes
Sure.
after this, if we submit it.
It's a good question.
Well, there's still gonna be
You're still, you know, based on the comments that you received back, you still are able to make, you know, revisions to the comprehensive plan.
Major revisions or revisions addressed to the concerns?
My understanding is you would, your revisions would be somewhat equated to the comments, because that's what the public hearing was based on. The public hearing was based on the draft.
Okay. Does that answer your question, Jeff? Okay. All right. Someone want to make a motion to approve or deny this comprehensive plan?
Make a motion that we accept Resolution 1814.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay,
The only thing I'm thinking about here is,
further discussion.
all right, the only thing I'm thinking about is, I don't see the map here anywhere,
Which map?
the zoning map.
This one?
Here's one
So
there.
in the comprehensive plan, there won't be a zoning map, there'll be a land use map. And then we adopt an official new zoning map after we adopt the comprehensive plan.
I think we should reach out and talk to those people that own that piece of property off of Lake Drive. There's 3 houses back there. I don't know if that's what they wanted, was residential overlay, whatever that was. That small 2-3 acres,
That's what we had that meeting for, though.
and they didn't show up according to Elizabeth.
Well, how much more can you reach out if they don't come? It was advertised, it was posted, they were sent out.
I know we have some council members calling them, we're calling landowners up and talking to them, so I think I'll take the lead on this and go talk to them, I guess.
We're also
Are
running
you
out of
talking about the
time.
suburban residential area or the north area?
He's talking directly north of Running Aces Boulevard, right, Jeff?
Yeah.
Then that
And
would,
then- and then
that would be
kinda-
no change. That's what it was before. It was community retail with a suburban residential overlay.
So when you go out of the Running Aces, right to the left,
Oh, to the left, that's now
That's the
just
property.
strictly suburban residential.
yes. And I think they'd want an option of maybe doing something else, so they all have large assessments, and I don't think they just want to live there. And I could talk to them, but I think that should be left open.
Well, what it is, it's not for them to live there, it's for townhomes and that kind of stuff. Multiple families.
South side of Lake Drive?
Be the north side.
It's not this piece, it'd be right here.
The north side of Lake Drive?
South side of Lake Drive.
Oh, the south side?
South side and east and west of Running Aces Boulevard.
Yeah, yep.
Yes,
There's 3 houses back there.
Suburban residential, those design standards have not been drafted yet, but we have a placeholder in the code And the idea there was to allow high-density, market rate, either housing, apartments. But again, that hasn't, the ordinance hasn't been drafted yet to fit that zoning district.
And I believe those people were there.
I thought Elizabeth told me they weren't. I think the one
Well,
lady
that
was
my
there.
area, and there was, the only person was the people who owned that property where he wanted to put a coffee shop. They were the only ones in
No,
attendance.
that's not.
That's to the
Yeah,
east.
that's the other place.
Right, but that, I had that whole quadrant, excuse me, at my table, and nobody else showed. They were the only ones.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go talk to him.
Okay,
All right.
feel free. Elizabeth, I had a question on the, there's a spot in here that talks about solar. No, I just had my finger on it. It is solar, I think it's in the agricultural land use. Are solar fields, what? I can't, I just had it and I lost it here. Well, just in general, could a guy take 180 acres and put solar panels in like they did out in Scandia?
My understanding is our code does not allow that, and we talked about it when we had a presentation. I don't remember what year it was in, but it was determined that we were not going to amend our code to allow that to happen.
Okay, so when it talks about, sorry, where'd it go? Resilience, woodland protection. Yeah, I think it's on page 37. It talks about Columbus has the following solar potential. Calculations assume 10% conversion efficiency, blah, blah, blah. So you don't believe that we would have that option here in Columbus to have solar fields? I mean, you're the zoning official, so.
Yeah, today, so the use, it's not in the code to allow, a principal use for solar panels.
Okay, so
It doesn't mean you-
accessory use could be.
Right. It doesn't mean you can't have solar panels on the top
Okay.
of your house. It just means that you cannot have solar panels as a principal use.
All right, perfect.
And the provision, Mr. Mayor, if I may, the provision that is on that page is in state law, and it's intended to give everybody the ability to have solar if they want it,
Mhm.
but it doesn't give someone the right to do a solar farm. That's a land use that you regulate.
Okay, all right, that was my only concern. And then so like an industrial facility could have it, or, okay, perfect. All right, any other questions on it? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye, opposed? Ayes have it. Public open forum, or is there anyone here for public open forum? Hearing nothing, we'll move to the engineer's report.
Just a quick update on the 3597 project. MnDOT's latest update for 35 itself is next Tuesday. They'll be closing the 35 northbound ramp to 8 east for 2 weeks while they pave that. And so they'll be detouring traffic onto 97 over to 61, so
Hmm.
that might cause a little more congestion. That's how it is now.
Well, we have Hornsby closed?
It is closed
It is closed now? So that
as of Monday morning.
would have been a reliever, that ain't gonna be there.
Yeah, it would have been dangerous with the narrow pavement and
The concrete trucks coming out of there are amazing.
Really?
Oh, look at the concrete they've put down already, all the way.
Oh my
from
God, it
south
goes
of the
forever.
bridge All the way up past Highway 8. It's amazing what
You-
they've put down already.
At that rate, you would think they'd be done next week.
I suppose they discourage cars from getting off in Forest Lake?
Pardon?
Why would, Forest Lake would be discouraged to get off there?
You
Take
still
eight?
can, but MnDOT has to detour onto state highways, MnDOT facilities.
Oh.
So they're using 97. People can still get up and go off on Broadway, which is more,
Okay,
Makes sense, but I suppose
yeah,
they don't want everybody going through town like that.
yeah.
anything else?
Yeah, just a couple quick maps on 97. Elizabeth, if I can put this up on.
To cut a tree down for that.
Make that roundabout's kind of tough to use. One in Forest Lake and downtown, and I suppose the other one.
Oh, man.
Never get out on it. I should go north-south.
All I wanted to show here was that, so this is the new Hornsby intersection, which will be, this north light will be constructed next year. But there's a lot of moving parts to this, so this is the improvements on 97, including the intersection and easterly, are part of the Hornsby Street project realignment that we're doing. Due to different funding sources and different permitting and environmental aspects that we need to work through going east. So what I wanted to show is the lower part in blue is actually what the design and build project will be building, likely later this year. They'll build everything up to Hornsby South, and then they'll also do one lane as you go east. But as you can see, there's actually 4 lanes heading east when this is all said and done. And they'll block a few off until next year when our project comes through as another lane, eastbound, and a turn lane westbound. So when it's all said and done, that's what the intersection will look like. The alignment to the north isn't correct, so don't look at that. That's an old map from that. But there'll be a full intersection, full signalized intersection, separate turn lanes in all 4 directions. And it's all colored yellow, but not all the pavement's gonna be redone. They're gonna save some of the pavement. So what you see in the red and the blue maps, actually, where it's still gray in the middle, that pavement will be saved through here. But just so you know that what's coming as of now, and the design build project can change, but as of now, they're planning on doing everything from here towards the intersection later this year. And they're staging for that. They'll build the south side, move everybody to the north, and then swap. And then while they build the new half the bridge, and if it all goes as planned over the winter, you'd be actually driving on the new bridge. They might be dropping the old one before winter. And then building rebuilding the south side next year. So a lot of moving pieces, but that's how it's kind of, when the dust settles, who's building what, and we're coordinating the city's project, which includes part of 97. But all the funding was through the cooperative agreement grant that we got a few years ago, and some of the LRIP funding that was part of the bonding bill. Not to say there might be a shortfall or discrepancy. We're trying to coordinate on that with council to get the final funding looks like, because there's 3 or 4 different funding sources. The good news is, 3 years ago, this was $1 million project. The city was paying for it. Now we're down to, I don't know what the number is, but it's less than 1/10 of that, or 1/5 of that, or 5% of it.
Okay.
Dennis, I have a question on the other side. So, looking at the other side of the freeway where, what would be Ever Street to the north, they raised the road, which looks really nice because they raised the road, so now it marries up with the road. So are they leaving that, I mean, long-term, are because the bridge is gonna be that high and then we're gonna taper back down into the road? Going back to the park and ride?
This is the road to the DNR.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, the bridge is gonna be 2 or 3 feet higher than the old bridge, so there is some of that. But they're raising that because that's gonna be the off-ramp. If you remember, that's,
and I knew that was the off-ramp, but I just wanted just wanted to know, is that the new road, and then is that gonna stay there? Because,
I'm not sure,
okay,
that far north where they're tying it, it doesn't need to be that high.
okay.
I can find out. But, during the construction period, that'll be the off-ramp, so I think to get to that, to go north on Evers, the only way would be to come off the off-ramp and do a sharp.
And that's what okay, so that's how you get to there? Okay,
Yeah, because you won't be able to go north because it'll be the off-ramp
Okay.
During construction.
is it signed like that?
It will be.
Okay. Does everybody know where I'm talking about?
I don't have a map for that.
Yeah, it's on the west side.
across from Holiday, if you go north to the DNR
Mm-hmm.
up there, that's gonna be the temporary off-ramp from 35 south. And there'll be probably a temporary signal there, because that'll be lined up with 54 on the south side.
Hmm.
And we couldn't get them to leave it in place.
Remember we tried?
Yeah.
Well, we tried to get the bypass for the roundabout. That was the one I wanted to get left there, but the
That's all I have.
watershed had different plans. All right, thank you. Okay, attorney's report.
Just a couple of informational items. One is, the engineer mentioned the bonding bill. In this year's bonding bill, the clarification that was needed got passed. So the clarification provides that engineering, design, and right-of-way can be funded from the LRIP funds. Of course, the governor needs to sign the bonding bill. Unlike the tax and spending bills, which he vetoes, the best guess is that he will sign the bonding bill, because there's projects all over the state that, people need done, transportation projects in particular. So there's a good shot that that clarification language will become law, and that all of those funds would be available as originally planned for the projects that Dennis just described.
Yeah, one clarifier of that is that that'll affect the county's projects more so, because we were able to, the county was able to find the city old LRIP funds for the design of Hornsby, so that's not impacted.
Right, but the fact that the county then has the money means that they're not gonna be looking to others to make up the shortfall. So that was a good result of the session. The county's lobbyists were involved in that, and we were involved to some extent as well through Margaret Vessel. So that's that report. And then Elizabeth and I met again today with the DNR and with Jay Gustafson, the developer of the sanctuary at Howard Lake. We had a very good discussion. It's getting to the point where the project, as proposed, looks as proposed and modified by the developer potentially, could be approved with the flexibility that the DNR suggested at our last meeting. So he still has some work to do. He will be, if in the month of June, he's going to assess whether he can make the project work. In the month of July, we expect to come informally to the council so you understand what's being proposed before he makes application, because he doesn't want to make, spend money on applications if it's not something that looks viable. So it won't be binding on the council, but it would be like a concept discussion, give you an opportunity to see what's been accomplished through some flexibility.
Was it a number between the 150 and the 50?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
So we're making progress, inch by inch, and I think that's a positive, because it looks like if what he thinks he can do proves out in terms of the other agencies that need to approve it, he thinks he will not lose any units.
Oh, still at 26 or whatever.
I think it is at 26.
Okay, good.
But he'll be looking for some flexibility in the PUD process.
Sure. Awesome. Anything else?
That's all I have.
Okay, council. Mr. Krebs?
There's nothing at this point.
Jeff?
Nothing.
Mark?
We had a Fall Fest meeting today. Just kind of going over everything as always. It changes too much, but they are hurting for firefighters for the city of Columbus.
Hmm.
So they're going to be advertising pretty heavy at the Fall Fest for firefighters for Columbus. And I think they'll be talking to Elizabeth about putting out on our well, I guess that'd be few,
Yep.
putting out on our site for advertising for that. And then, yeah. So they said they're going to attack it pretty hard with signs and such like. I said, well, it needs to be done, so yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, that's all I have.
When's the swing set gonna be removed in the crosswalk? For the park playground?
Not Park Board, right? Fall Fest meeting.
Oh, but I know you talked about, we voted on it, I believe, to remove it?
Yeah,
So-
I think Jim has it on the schedule.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know, sir.
Oh, you don't know anything about that? Okay. What'll happen to the asset of the swings set? Will you sell that or
I
something?
know that the picnic table and the bench will be moved to the main park.
Okay.
I don't know the condition of the swing set.
It looked like it was in pretty good shape. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not even
pretty
sure what
sturdy.
year the swing set is because it was way before my time.
Okay, just
They
curious.
didn't seem to think it would come out without destroying it, because it's so rusted and
Mm.
corroded, and they thought that when they start taking it apart, it's just not gonna come apart.
I took one out for school and it came out pretty easy with a
The whole
jackhammer.
swing set?
Yeah, yeah. You jackhammer the concrete off and then you lift it out. But you need a backhoe. Parts? Hmm.
For the other ones, because you can't get parts for the other swing sets.
Oh. Okay, Danny?
Nothing.
Okay. All I have here is this, Elizabeth, we have this, I got this letter from the Met Council about residences, population estimates.
Oh, population.
So,
What's the number?
actually, it's a negative. So it was 3914 in 2010, and then in 2017, it's 3873. So do we get our signs changed, or what do we do?
Those are estimates, so you only change signs on census years. So, this will be let me think. I don't know if it's next year, but whatever census year, that's when you change it. I think it's coming up, I just don't remember if it's 18 or 19,
How many years is the census? Every 10 years?
every 10 years.
Oh, well, then it must be 2020, because the last one was 2010.
Oh, it was, okay, so then it's on the zeros.
So it doesn't say in here what our,
Because those are estimates, those are Met Council estimates, it's not,
Yeah.
they're, you know what I mean, just projections.
okay, so that's all I had. All right, Public Works report, no one here. Public Information Coordinator, no report. City Administrator report.
In your additions, I gave you what is going to be a press release because Lori and I went to a training meeting last week, and we are gonna, this year for elections, we're gonna be using poll books. And so I wanted to show you what poll books are going to look like. And if you look on the screen now, it looks like an iPad. And so that's what they're calling a poll book. And so instead of paper, you used to walk into the polling place and you used to have a greeter, and then you had someone that was at a registration table. Well, now you will no longer have lines with A through F or D. You can go to any line. They'll have these poll pads. You'll simply give them your name. They'll put your first three letters of your last name, first name in the poll pad. Your name will come up. Once they verify that that's who you are, then they will accept your name and address. They'll have a printer, so each area will have a printer. They'll tear it off, and you'll actually sign that piece of paper. They'll give you a voter receipt, and then you'll get your ballot. So Columbus will have 5 of these poll pads in our polling place. So just wanted to let you know that 2018, we're going electronic, so it'll be a little bit different in the polling place, which makes the job for the election judge a little bit more hands-on, intuitive, using an iPad versus, like I said, pencil and paper, which we've done in the past. So those people will have to go through training to learn how to bring up records and put things in, and it's pretty intuitive. You just have to learn how to do each of the steps.
Will that speed anything up?
You know, I think it will speed it up, but we can only go as fast as the ballots go in the counter. So as much as you want to, speed up one area, you still have to spend 30 seconds at the ballot box, putting your ballot into the ballot box so it scans it and accepts it.
Okay. All right, anything else?
I have nothing further other than the planning commission will have meetings both the 6th and the 20th of June. I have a variance application for the first meeting, a plat for the second meeting. The variance for the first meeting is again a shoreland setback issue for a deck. I have already talked to the DNR, and they are on board with the concept, and so that will come before you mid-June.
Okay. All right, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned.